Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm watching English counties explained by Mapman. I watched their video about why English place names are so difficult to pronounce, so I guess I should watch this one as well. So let's check it out. Link to the original video will of course be down in the description below.
Welcome to Mapmen.
We're Tuckmen.
And here's to Map.
Mapmen, Mapmen, Mapmen. In today's programme, we're going to talk about counties.
Counties are the building blocks that make up Britain. The units you're expected to have heard of to help place towns and villages you've not heard of, such as Wingerworth.
Where?
In Derbyshire.
Oh, where's Derbyshire?
Arguably, the county that inspires the fiercest pride and loyalty in its inhabitants is Yorkshire.
Yorkshire is known for Yorkshire puddings, Yorkshire terriers.
Yorkshire? I thought it was Yorkshire. I thought that says... Yep. That just shows I did not learn anything from the last video. I still cannot pronounce British place names.
With its distinctive accent, strong identity and intense one-way rivalry with Lancashire next door, Yorkshire folk are proud to tell everyone they come across that they come from Yorkshire.
And they're all wrong to do so because Yorkshire doesn't exist.
Yes, it does.
Alright, show me a map with Yorkshire on it.
Okay. Here. This map of the 39 counties of England clearly shows a county called Yorkshire.
But this map of the 48 counties of England shows separate north, south, west and east riding of Yorkshire.
Why is
but
the
no
two
single
separate
county
maps?
called Yorkshire.
But my map is correct and up to date.
So is mine. And so is this one.
What's going on?
We're doing Mapmen.
No, I mean with the counties.
Why are they all
Well,
different?
The definition of county in Britain is a minefield of anomalies, asterisks, confusions, vague areas and contradictory Wikipedia articles.
Why does Britain just have to be so confusing?
The more you look for answers about what a county really is, the more questions you come across.
Which is perhaps why no one's attempted to do a video about them before.
Even Google Docs won't let you type the word county without suggesting, did you mean country?
But we're not taking citation
Wow.
needed for an answer. It's time to do some actual research to find out once and for all, what is a county? And go!
Right, now that we've eaten all those biscuits, should we start doing some research?
I've done it all. The first time England was split into what we now call counties was back in the 10th century when King Aethelstan wanted to make sure all the same laws were being
King what?
It was back in the 10th century when King Aethelstan wanted to make sure all the same laws were being obeyed and all
It's
the same
the
taxes were being
AE
collected
thingy.
all across England.
Which, curiously, is the opposite reason why you divide a nation up nowadays.
He split his kingdom into bites.
Didn't Elon Musk's son have that in his name? You know, the weird one with the X, and I think there was a number in there too, 12 or something. That kid is definitely going to be bullied when he's growing up, unless he changes his name, which he definitely will once he's able to do that.
Bite-sized manageable chunks and sent an earl to be in charge of each one of them.
How they got their names tells you a bit about how they were formed.
These were named after ethnic groups or old kingdoms that existed before England.
These ones that end in sex were part of the Saxon kingdoms which spread across the south of England.
And these ones took their name from the most important.
Were part of the Saxon
Middlesex? What? I've heard of Sussex and Essex, but never Middlesex.
kingdoms which spread across the south of
There
England.
was also
And
Wessex.
these ones took their name from the most important town, the county town, and added the Anglo-Saxon word shire on the end, the same word that sheriff comes from.
Sheriff. Ooh!
And
See, I thought it was Shire. Like from Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit.
for our American viewers, it's pronounced sheer, not shire.
Actually, it's pronounced shire, not sheer, plebs.
Over the centuries, these areas have been controlled by earls, dukes, sheriffs, lords, and at one point, counts, which is how they came to be known as counties.
The precise location of exactly where one county stopped and another one started wasn't important in those days.
Which one
Nobody
was
tried to
ruled by
draw the
Count
boundaries on a
Dracula?
map until the 1080s when the Normans did a survey.
Hello, Norman. I've done a survey of all the people who say they live in Worcestershire.
Thanks, Norman. I'll just add that to my survey of all the people who say they live in Gloucestershire.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
And that's how the fuzzy county borders became sharp lines, but with lots of panhandles, detached areas, exclaves and squiddly bits.
England's counties
Became sharp lines, but with lots of panhandles, detached areas and squiddly bits.
England's counties varied massively in size. The biggest, Yorkshire, was half the size of Wales, and the smallest, Rutland, was roughly the size of a Wale with 0 cities and frankly had no business being a county.
Harsh.
But these differences didn't really matter until, in 1888, the Prime Minister Lord Salisbury established administrative counties, making democracy local.
Each county would now have its own county council in the county town, in charge of local things like police, fire, council tax and so on.
but some counties were too big to be easily manageable.
Sussex got split into east and west.
And Yorkshire was split into its historic ridings, a word that meant thirds.
Ridings. Yeah, that sort of works.
In addition to this, big cities were given the status of county borough, which made them independent from the county they were in, effectively taking the Leicester out of Leicestershire, Derby out of Derbyshire, and Nottingham out of Nottinghamshire. So does this all mean that a united Yorkshire hasn't existed since 1888?
Well, not exactly. Strap in. The new administrative counties did not replace the historic.
So both of these maps are correct at the same time. Yorkshire is technically really big, but at the same time it's split into 3 smaller parts, which are split into even smaller parts.
Counties. Both systems confusingly
It's a mess.
coexisted at the same time.
And the confusion was only going to get worse.
Lots of towns in Britain had the same name.
This often caused confusion, with many people's letters being delivered to the wrong place.
I'm quite sure
Which
that's
is why from
a
18
problem in
onwards,
most
the Royal
countries.
Mail required that every address had to end with a county.
But
Because many post towns happened to spread inconveniently across county borders, the Royal Mail, for their own convenience, introduced the last thing Britain needed: another county's map.
The post office's counties didn't match up with the historic ones or the administrative ones. For example, the town of Ugly was in the county of Essex, but the address ended
Ugly?
in Hertfordshire.
Which meant there were
The
now
town of Ugly. Wow. Imagine being born there and living there. Someone asks you where you're from and you hit them with the Ugly, or I'm from Ugly.
3 interpretations of what county you lived in: historical, administrative, and or postal.
As the centuries rolled on, the county system went from being confusing to being completely out of date. After the Industrial Revolution, Britain's new big cities were man-spreading themselves across county borders.
And many county towns were no longer the commercial powerhouses they used to be.
The once mighty city of York had fallen to 5th place in non-existent Yorkshire.
The counties didn't reflect 20th century Britain in any cultural, practical, or meaningful
Full sense. It was time for a complete shake-up.
The year was 1972, a time of optimism and experimentation and the first episode of Rainbow.
The Local Government Act of 1972 was a radical attempt at cleaning up the complicated, outdated counties mess both once and for
I'm guessing
all.
they made it
Brand
worse
new
somehow.
metropolitan counties sprang into existence, with modern-sounding names like Merseyside, Greater Manchester, West Midlands and Tyne and Wear.
London, of course, wasn't included in any of this, as they'd already done their own thing 10 years earlier, which Jay has previously discussed on a video he made without me.
At the same time, several traditional counties vanished overnight. It was county carnage. Huntingdonshire got eaten by Cambridgeshire, Hereford got anded with Worcester, Cumberland, Westmoreland and this lump of Lancashire were all merged and given the horrible new name Cumbria.
And silly little Rutland was sensibly absorbed by Leicestershire.
God.
Chances are nobody would have Battenberged an eyelid at yet
Who
another change to
names that? Who comes up with Cumbria and thinks that's a good name?
Britain's local authorities, but the government made a big mistake.
They
That
messed
person had
with
to have known
Yorkshire.
what they were doing.
Yorkshire's borders got a complete meddling, creating a new South Yorkshire, which was cheeky. But when the East Riding got taken out of Yorkshire altogether and became part of the new Humberside, that was not on. It was off.
The previously Yorkshirean residents of Hull were not at all keen to be lumped with Grimsby on the other side of the River Humber.
It was a particularly bizarre union given the Humber Bridge connecting the two sides hadn't even been built yet. There was an anti-Humberside campaign, and even anti-Humberside
Oh,
graffiti.
so
All this
there's a
kerfuffle
rivalry
forced the
between
government's
them.
hand, and in 1996, Humberside quietly disappeared.
As did other unpopular experiments like Cleveland and Avon.
Hereford and Worcester once again became Hereford and Worcester. Sure. Even ridiculous Rutland regained its status as England's smallest county.
The shake-up of 1972, designed to simplify things, did nothing of the sort, instead marking the beginning of an era where county borders, names and powers have been
So
changing
just like
on
I
an
suspected,
ever-increasing
they only
basis.
made things
England's
even
state has
more of
9
a
regions
mess.
comprising 47 ceremonial counties
Somehow.
alongside 6 metropolitan counties comprising 36 metropolitan districts, 26 non-metropolitan counties comprising 192 non-metropolitan districts and 56 unitary authorities, not including Greater London, which is a ceremonial county and not a county, comprising 32 boroughs, and the City of London, which is a district and a county and not a ceremonial county, and we haven't even talked about Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland, where it's different.
Absolute state of
Oh
this.
my
Although it
god.
may seem more impossible than ever to tell what and isn't a county, according to this particularly aggressive map publisher,
It's very simple. Our historic counties have never been affected, nor their boundaries changed by the endless shifting of local government boundaries over the past 100 years.
this is a view shared by the increasingly exasperated Association of British Counties, who seek to
Give every county a county day, teach counties to school children, fly county flags in every county, stop using the word county for local authorities who are not proper counties.
fruitcakes. The reality is, unless you live in a county that's particularly unusually proud of itself, like Yorkshire, in general not much of a monkeys is given about the county you live in.
And that might be because it just doesn't really matter. It's not like the USA, where laws vary from one state to the next.
Even Royal Mail doesn't care anymore. Thanks to postcodes, putting a county on your address has been unnecessary since 1996, despite the boxes they make you fill in on
that's
Amazon.
true.
But just because they're not important doesn't mean we should forget about them. Present-day knowledge and understanding of English counties is in
Nah,
an
who
abysmal
cares?
state.
We stopped over 4 people
Just
on
ignore
the
it,
street.
just
Not a
forget
single
they
one of them could
exist.
faultlessly name every single county in England and its county town.
Well, we think that's a terrible shame, and it's about time something was done about it. Oh, there's Leicestershire,
He
Oxfordshire,
brought out the
Rutland.
ukulele. He's gonna make an apology video next. So what did I learn today about British counties? Well, English counties. Pretty much nothing, other than the fact that they are incredibly confusing and I still don't know exactly which map is the most accurate. Because technically they're all correct, depending on how you look at it. So I'm just going to ignore this altogether. This entire system was a total mess. It was handled incorrectly. When they tried to change it in so many different ways, like, what's the bloody point? Every single time I watch a video about the British on their channel, I realize just how ridiculous Britain really is. English counties are a mess. The way place names are pronounced in England is horrible. British cities make no sense either. Well, anyway, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I've said everything I wanted to say, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you're interested, why not watch this video right here? And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.